My name is H.A. Goodman, and I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. Hit subscribe right now. We're on our way to 131,000 subscribers. Let's get this to 140,000 subs. My voice is unique in politics primarily because, well, at least in terms of pundits, because I went from writing 100-plus articles that went viral stating that only Bernie Sanders could win on the left. This was before Bernie capitulated in like a millisecond after he was cheated. And now I'm a President Trump supporter, bringing home Americans from never-ending conflict, peace between North and South Korea. Those are two reasons alone for Bernie Sanders voters and Jill Stein voters to vote for President Trump. But I can go on. There are other reasons. Doesn't matter. The issue is this channel is growing, and it'll get to 200,000 with your help. If I provide a needed voice, please go ahead and hit subscribe if you think that my voice represents yours or that it's needed in some manner. President Trump is going to rewrite the Mueller probe, which is hilarious. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Exclusive, Trump team should be allowed to correct final Mueller report, says Giuliani. They're going to correct the Mueller report. They're going to anyway, in their own report. They're going to have dueling reports. Okay? We've come down to a nation where our national security resides in Kinko's or Office Depot. This is absurd. By the way, I have a Second Amendment channel. Check that out. Glock 29, 10mm. It's below, along with the 45 ACP, Springfield Armory, and a whole bunch of different firearms that I shoot. It's awesome. Going today, I'm going to tape some more great segments. HA Second Amendment. Definitely hit subscribe on that. Let's grow both channels. Rudy Giuliani says President Trump's legal team should be allowed to correct Special Counsel Robert Mueller's final report before Congress or the American people get a chance to read it. This is hilarious. It's hilarious because there's a report to begin with, which is stupid and nonsensical. Now there's this ridiculous last-second propaganda spin. Oh, Manafort shared polling data with somebody who could have been a Russian intelligence source. So what did he do? Print out a 538 article and give it to this Russian guy or this Ukrainian guy? What is that? Where is the standard of proof now? Has been watered down to lunacy. It's been watered down to the point of absurdity. Who cares? I mean, are you serious? This is what has linked Trump to Putin. This nonsensical Trump worked with Putin to hack the DNC to inform the country that Bernie Sanders was cheated, thus giving Hillary Clinton the popular vote, but then making her lose swing states while at the same time buying Facebook ads where Buff Bernie coloring books. If you say a derogatory word about Deborah Wasserman Schultz, my new name, by the way, is Rico Suave Sanders. It worked for Beto, it'll work for me. Sorry, this is what I do on my live streams. When like 50 people are like, I'm out, I can't stand this. Like my impersonations. Anyway, check out my live streams. There were supposed to be indictments of Trump. There should have been indictments of Clinton for transferring top-secret intelligence outside of the United States government, finding a way to do that. We still don't know how she did that. But there were supposed to be indictments of President Trump for conspiring with Vladimir Putin to hack the DNC. There was no evidence of that. James Clapper stated there's no evidence to Chuck Todd in March of 2017. He stated there's no evidence, Chuck. And then Chuck said, what if it? He said there's no evidence at all. None. If you ask me again, I'm going to jump over this table and attack you. There's no evidence. James Clapper was privy to the NSA, FBI, CIA, all the only 3 intelligence agencies. It wasn't 16 or 17 intelligence agencies. It was only 3. That's another one of the many propaganda lies. The NSA is moderately confident. The CIA and FBI are highly confident. Nobody is certain. The only information derived regarding, the only data, the only evidence regarding the alleged hacking of the DNC to inform everyone that Bernie Sanders was cheated by Hillary Clinton, the only evidence emanates from CrowdStrike, a tech firm that is not associated with the United States government. It has absolutely nothing to do with the United States government. Absolutely, positively nothing to do. Nothing to do with the United States government. Nothing to do. However, CrowdStrike has something to do with the DNC and Hillary Clinton. Democrats outsourced CrowdStrike. The Democratic National Committee outsourced CrowdStrike to look at its servers. How ridiculous is that? That's where the Russian intelligence officers, the basis for the indictments of Russian intelligence officers, not from U.S. intelligence, not from U.S. Like NSA data, no. The United States government, James Comey even admitted, Jay Johnson, Department of Homeland Security under Obama, admitted this too. Nobody touched DNC servers. Now, how does the Daily Beast or Gizmodo or Vice or BuzzFeed defend this? Well, they say they got pristine copies. They got copies and images from CrowdStrike, a reputable company. Well, of course it's a reputable company. The Democrats paid them. The conflict of interest there is profound. Why would you trust a company that was paid by the Democratic National Committee? Do you trust, if someone is on trial for murder, do you trust their defense attorney to provide the only fingerprints? Does that make any sense at all? As you can see, Your Honor, these fingerprints are not my clients. Well, did the police department look at the safe or the scene or whatever? No, actually the police were never there. But we had our own team of inspectors, and we found out that my client is completely innocent. Look, as you can see from our wonderful company that looked at the fingerprints, my client is completely innocent. That's exactly essentially what took place. CrowdStrike, this entire ridiculous, absurd, ridiculous narrative propaganda spin is that the Russians hacked the DNC because why? Because they were so afraid of Hillary Clinton. That was in the Steele dossier. Steele dossier was purchased. Go to the Washington Post. Well, everything I say is not from a message board where college students are like pretending to be James Bond, or a White House intern is pretending to be James Bond, taking a whole bunch of people for a ride. Everything I say is based on public record. So the public record shows the Washington Post. The Steele dossier was purchased by Hillary Clinton and the DNC while they were funneling money through her law firm. That's a campaign finance violation. I wrote in the Daily Caller, Hillary Clinton should be indicted for campaign finance violations. That's a Daily Caller article. Look it up. H.A. Goodman, Daily Caller, Clinton, campaign finance. And you'll see the article. But the Steele dossier, if you read it, it's hilarious. It's like written by some guy on LSD who loved fantasy novels and weird romance novels with the whole bodily fluids thing. But the Steele dossier states that Carter Page, Paul Manafort, George Papadopoulos, Flynn and others. Flynn is not prominently discussed in the Flynn, but it's Papadopoulos, Page, and Flynn should be pardoned tomorrow. He's an honorable man, Michael Flynn. But Carter Page, George Papadopoulos, and Paul Manafort are prominently discussed in this ridiculous, absurd compilation of gossip that they call a dossier. Okay? No U.S. intelligence. It was purchased by Hillary Clinton and the DNC. That was utilized by James Comey, by Clapper, by John Brennan, who started the whole thing, and Clapper, and Comey, who basically spearheaded the whole thing with the FBI. They utilized the Steele dossier to begin an investigation without a predicate crime, without a crime linked directly to Trump. There was no crime, ladies and gentlemen. They're still trying to find a crime. That's why this latest news report, Manafort shared polling data with somebody. What does that have to do? What does that have to do with Russian hacking? So it's like so money flows into the Clinton Foundation from Uranium One CEO. Bill Clinton meets with Vladimir Putin, according to Newsweek. Cash flowed to the Clinton Foundation amid Russian uranium deal, according to the New York Times. Hillary Clinton opposes the Magnitsky Act. Hillary Clinton is quiet as a church mouse on the Committee on Foreign Investment, does not oppose the deal, even though it's said that Russia hates her. And President Obama could have vetoed the deal and didn't. And now Putin owns mines in Wyoming and 20% of U.S. uranium capacity at one point. This is a fact. Nothing I said is not a fact. What was debunked by Snopes, which was never really an issue to begin with, is that Hillary Clinton gave the uranium herself. No one really makes that statement. It's always an allegation of quid pro quo, which when you look at Haiti, weapons deals, Uranium One, UBS, Boeing, 85 donors who gave $156 million. Massive flows of money are flowing into the Clinton Foundation. You have whistleblowers, or you have FBI informants like William D. Campbell, who's represented by an amazing voice and attorney, a powerful D.C. attorney who is on Trump's side, married to Joe DeGeneva, Victoria Tenzing. Both of them are an amazing couple, power couple, on the side of President Trump, who are right about everything they say regarding Clinton Foundation, the Mueller probe, and all that. You have the FBI informant saying you have the flow of money, you have a peculiar sale of uranium to what is said to be this big enemy, and what they've done is through the Mueller probe. Robert Mueller, by the way, was the FBI director that was overseeing or privy to a bribery and racketeering scandal, which took place in concert with the flow of money into the Clinton Foundation and the approval of the uranium sale by the Committee on Foreign Investment. So there are all these things, and now he is, and I explain this in my book, Debunking the Trump-Russia Myth. Check it out, it's below in the comments section. I also explain it in Butter Top Secret emails and Butter Deleted emails. Explain, how she transferred top secret intel, or how she possibly could have. Paul Sperry has a great article on that, and I cite Paul Sperry. But all of this is so convoluted, I always repeat myself, because you have to get back to the history of all of this. You have to get back to the history of all of this, and the history of all of this is that President Trump was framed. Now there's a Mueller report, and there should never have been a Mueller probe to begin with. Mueller was given a special counsel only because James Comey had these memos that were classified, by the way, that he leaked. And that in and of itself was not enough for Rosenstein to start an investigation. But Sessions and Rosenstein were travesties, both abominations. That's 2 years of wasted time. That's 2 years of President Trump's administration that had to deal with a completely fabricated scandal. There's not a shred of evidence that Trump needed or worked with Russia. There's a mountain of evidence that Hillary Clinton transferred top secret intelligence. Well, she did. The evidence is it's actually, there's no evidence linking to the possibility. No, there is a fact that she did transfer top secret intelligence, that the special access program intelligence was found on her in her emails, that James Comey stated 110 email chains had emails born classified the moment they were sent to her, that included top secret intelligence and special access program intelligence on a server outside the United States government that for a certain period was unencrypted. Then yesterday, some gentleman said to me, "Well, Trump did the same thing." Well, how? Oh, but he disclosed classified information. Who said this? This is the problem. The Clintons, with their criminality, have made things so relative that they've tried to make extreme criminality relative to gossip. There's a New York Times article that says that according to former and current U.S. officials, do you know what that means? Debbie Wasserman Schultz, people who worked for the Democratic Party. Government employees like, Sally Yates or Susan Rice, or who unmasked names on behalf of President Obama and Hillary Clinton. You have one team versus another. In this case, the Trump's team has been wronged. Trump's team is on the side of right. You have Clinton's team, who has been given carte blanche to do absolutely anything they want. Frame people, start special counsels. Now they have a Mueller report that is eventually going to be nonsense. It's going to simply show question marks and kind of give the baton to they're going to try to give the baton to the House Democrats. Mueller knows that he can't go forever, especially with William Barr, who's basically already criticized big time the Mueller probe and said there's more reason to investigate the uranium cell than there is Trump's alleged ties to Russia. He's actually said that. William Barr has actually said, the new Attorney General has stated, and that was a Washington Post article I was reading yesterday. There was a whole bunch of articles on William Barr. The left can't stand William Barr. That's a good thing. The left was just fine with Jeff Sessions. And I read this 10 or 15 tweets from Trump where he just clowns Sessions. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is important to understand the context. This is hopefully what this channel brings you. Context. I'm not right all the time. I'm right more often than I'm wrong. I have the pulse of what's going on. But context. This has been a setup from day one. It's been a setup from day one, and it's been President Trump on the defensive, hopefully with William Barr. He's wrestled control of deep state or intelligence community away from Clinton and Obama, and I said that he would, and I was talking about this years ago. William Barr, new sheriff in town, new Department of Justice, Attorney General in town, knows the Clintons. Now they say, oh, he's friends with Mueller, he's friends with Mueller. What doesn't matter. They're all friends. All the establishment people all know each other. Clinton and Bill and Hillary went to Trump's wedding. Trump gave money to the Clinton Foundation. All of them know each other. Whether they hate each other or dislike each other or want to wrestle power away, that's not going to stop them from wrestling power away. Just because William Barr might like Mueller, that doesn't mean he's going to allow Mueller to just continue to try to destroy people's lives without any evidence forever. This all, by the way, stems from, and which is why the left should be called out on this, and I've called out a couple of people on this regarding WikiLeaks. This all stems from WikiLeaks and Julian Assange. This doesn't all stem from WikiLeaks and Julian Assange, but what I'm saying is the emphasis on a dossier, the emphasis on a report, the emphasis on images from CrowdStrike to the U.S. government, not the U.S. government looking at things. The emphasis on former and current U.S. officials, the emphasis on BuzzFeed publishing the Steele dossier. These are all people and publications trying to be WikiLeaks. When BuzzFeed published the Steele dossier, they were the anti-WikiLeaks. They were the antithesis of WikiLeaks. But they thought for a moment, hey, if WikiLeaks can publish pristine documents, not just about the DNC and Podesta, about everything. Without WikiLeaks, what do you have? You just have the Washington Post and the New York Times spewing propaganda with a spin from the left. When Bush was in office, they curried favor with Bush. They go where the power structure is. If there's eventually an establishment conservative that is, palatable, they'll go ahead and gravitate towards that person if it's a military conflict, because they love that stuff. They love endless lives being torn apart. Good for business, for the media. That's why when Trump said, hey, we're bringing home Americans from these locations, no, you can't. $45 billion per year in Afghanistan. They can't give Trump $5 billion for a physical barrier offense that will stop and impede the flow of trafficking of all types. But anyway, I digress, like I usually do. Hit subscribe right now. Oh, WikiLeaks. All of this is linked to pristine documents that were published by WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks published the words of all of these people, these criminals, these fraudsters, these unethical villains. WikiLeaks published, and Julian Assange published this information. Now he published information regarding the reality of conflicts, the reality of government spying, the reality of, and not just in the United States, Russia, all different countries. All different. The fact we spied on the French elections, all the different countries. Assange and WikiLeaks took it upon themselves to publish information that is just pristine. It's accurate. It's being hidden from the American public. It didn't hurt us in any way. It helped us. Snowden's revelations, according to Rand Paul and Ron Paul and others, helped us. The same Rand Paul, Ron Paul, many other people support WikiLeaks. Rudy Giuliani said Assange shouldn't be charged with anything. He didn't do anything wrong. He published, just like Daniel Ellsberg published the Pentagon Papers, he published pristine documents. His biggest sin was telling the truth about Hillary. All of this, and William Barr hopefully knows this. I'm not saying trust Barr, but we have the best opportunity now, because Clinton will eventually get indicted. She wields too much power and influence and money, and she's a criminal. So William Barr knows this. Hopefully he'll do the right thing. I've been saying the writing's on the wall for years now. She will eventually get indicted because there's too much criminality there. But the big problem, the big issue is that, and this is the context that I give that other people who want to fight the oligarchy, man, fight the oligarchy, is so unfair, we're so morally superior, yeah! They never bring up the fact that WikiLeaks has been persecuted, and mainly Julian Assange is fighting for his life, and that he's being persecuted. Why? For telling the truth. And the truth was they cheated Bernie Sanders. It was a bogus primary. And when my articles in the Huffington Post, the Hill, Salon, the Cleveland Plain Dealer, all these places, the Jerusalem Post, when my Huffington Post and the Salon articles were going viral, and Hill articles were going viral, there was like a media blackout. Washington Post's David Farenthold, who won a Nobel Pulitzer for exposing the Trump Foundation. Wow, thanks for your work on the Clinton Foundation. You'll never get poor John Solomon. He's like on the forefront. Tom Fitton, they're all on the forefront. Well, John Solomon, Sarah Carter, Kimberly Straw, they're at the forefront. They'll never get a Pulitzer for their work exposing the Clintons. But if you expose the Trump Foundation, no uranium deal, no nothing, you get a Pulitzer. Whatever. It is what it is. The establishment takes care of its own. But the point is, not only does Assange deserve the Pulitzer, he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. If the Nobel Committee had any integrity at all, they'd give Julian Assange the Nobel Peace Prize. Because we know the truth of that Hillary Clinton would have... one of the reasons Obama didn't preside over peace between North and South Korea is that Clinton threatened to ring China with missile defense if it didn't rein in North Korea. That was from the WikiLeaks revelations. But we also know that she had a public and private face, in which the New York Times promptly wrote an article, why Clinton has to be two-faced. Do you want to see? They're like, oh my God, where is this post-truth moment? Clinton two-faced. New York Times. Why Clinton needs to be two-faced. This is an opinion article in the New York Times. I'm not joking. There was a speech that she did not want disclosed, and WikiLeaks was able to disclose it. She was telling bankers the speech, investment bankers, but the American public couldn't know, and that's okay. Democratic voters, they can be stomped on and deceived and cheated. They're fine. But for the rest of humanity, who has a spine and wants to really understand what's going on, you get Hillary Clinton's speech transcripts that say, well, I have a public and private face. Literally, that she's saying she tells the public one thing and the private and people who can really make decisions another thing. That she's dishonest and a liar. Then you promptly get why Hillary Clinton needs to be two-faced in the New York Times. There's an October 22nd, 2016 article. Is it hypocritical to take one line in private, then adjust or deny it in public? Of course, but maintaining separate public and private faces is something we all do every day. Meanwhile, when Trump doesn't even tell the national security lies that Hillary does and Obama did. I didn't know about the server. We're intervening in Libya for the benefit of the people. And so when you look at this, we tell annoying relatives we enjoy their visits. They go overboard, do you understand? It's like contortions. It's like Cirque du Soleil here in terms of logic. Look at the reverence of Hillary. Look at the deferential treatment. With Trump, he is like the epitome of all that's insidious. But with this is an art. We tell annoying relatives we enjoyed their visits. We thank inept waiters for rotten service. I actually don't do that. And agree with bosses who we know are wrong. And then it goes on to like different cultures that allow lying. It's like amazing. Miss Clinton's instinct is to overprotect her privacy and overmanage her image. Yet give credit where credit is due. An experienced political negotiator and former chief diplomat, she understands that hypocrisy and two-facedness, when prudently harnessed to advance negotiations or avert conflict, are a public good and a public necessity. Of course you can't say so. At least not in public. In our hearts, we know she's right. But shush, it's a secret. This is the exact article. This is the article, okay? Can you imagine anything like this written about Trump? But shush. Trump's two-facedness is a secret to us. That doesn't happen, you understand? It doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. Just one of the many examples of hypocrisy on the left. They call it whataboutism, which is a new name for what humanity calls hypocrisy. See, when somebody on the left says Trump's wall is bigoted, and then you say, well, Obama deported 2.5 million Americans, then they say, whataboutism? What about, 2.5 million immigrants, more immigrants than any president in U.S. history. Whataboutism? Whataboutism? Yeah, it's called hypocrisy. You're trying to stand on a morally superior vantage point while you're standing on a pile of refuse. Where you're standing on no morally superior vantage point, no morally superior. You have done. Hillary Clinton referred to black youth as super predators. This is the most racist thing you could ever say, more racist than anything Trump has said. Again, whataboutism? It's what about? You're doing the whataboutism. Yeah, it's because you're pretending that you're better than Trump. You're pretending that you're better than Trump supporters. It's the problem. But how did I go from all of these things? Look, the bottom line is this. Getting back to WikiLeaks really quickly. Assange published the truth, and everyone else said, well, if you publish the truth, we're going to publish lies. And the truth was viewed as gossip, even though it was the truth by the left. Now they view gossip as fact, without any evidence of anything. So we have massive evidence, truth published, Hillary lost. Then it's now propaganda, gossip, hearsay. Oh, that must be evidence. Let's investigate forever, even though there's no crime. Mueller report will be corrected by Trump, which will be hilarious. Hit subscribe right now to both this channel and my Second Amendment channel. Thank you.